Ciao from Bologna, Italy. Italy's 7th largest city, and it's a city that's often called fat, red, and learned. Fat because it's a culinary capital, red because of the red roofs and because it's a hub for anti-fascism, and learned because it's home to the West's longest continuously operating university that's been around for about 1,000 years now. So because I love food, hate fascism, and love to learn, I figured I would come and check out this city while I'm here in Italy because I had not been here before. And the first thing I'm gonna do is go up to that tower right there. That is actually one of the 2 towers that you can go up to the top and check out views of the whole city. So I'm gonna go up there now because my reservation is now for a little bit. You do have to reserve ahead of time for that because they limit how many people could be in there at the same time. And on a hot early summer day like today, when there's lots of people out and about, definitely make sure you make some reservations ahead of time. So let's go up to the top of this tower, which is leaning a little bit too. It's not the leaning Tower of Pisa. It's not leaning quite so obviously, but it is leaning just a little bit. And to be honest, it's kind of amazing that it's been there since the 1200s. So that'd be the 13th century, and it's still there. Have to get some energy and have a nice lunch, and there's this really cool street food that I just found here, which is called Piazza Mia. Well, the place is called Piazza Mia, and this I'm gonna have this little it's kind of like a little folded flatbread, and inside of it I was told here by the very nice guy here in this shop that the typical Bolognese, here it is.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Thank you.
All right.
The best in the town.
Yes, it smells very good. I can't wait to eat this.
Thank you.
So let's go outside and eat this. So it's a piadina classica. The most typical kind here in Bologna is one with mortadella and a kind of local cheese and with rucola. 3 things that I really like. So I'm going to enjoy this and then work it off by walking all the way up to the top of the tower. So one thing to note, if you go up to the tower, is that when you make a reservation ahead of time, it'll tell you to be 5 minutes before at the piazza that is right here across the street from the tower entrance. However, I was there 5 minutes before, like it said, and there didn't seem to be any sign of the tower. So I just walked over here to the entrance, and then the ticket agent there who checked my QR code for my reservation was like, okay, yeah, just wait in the line here around the corner of the entrance. So just keep that in mind. Your instructions might be wrong when you buy a ticket here, and just come here to the door and then show them your reservation. They'll tell you where to go. And looks like we're going in.
It's for customers and not like... I'll go get a coffee.
Here we go, about 500 or so steps. I'll come back to you guys from the top because this video is going to be very boring and awkward if you just see me huffing and puffing this whole way up.
You're cursing. I'm just glad that you'll be
Sometimes it's a two-way street. So if you are claustrophobic, which thankfully I'm not, but if you are, just be mindful of that when you come up here. Made it up to the top, and it is absolutely worth the effort. If you are an able-bodied person and want to enjoy some really nice views of Bologna, come up here to the top, especially on a nice clear day like today. And here are the rooftops. I was telling you about one of the reasons they say that this city is red, as well as being fat and learned as well, is because of the rooftops. You see the rooftops have that same kind of red color. now gotta go all the way back down. Should be a little easier than going all the way up though. So now that we've come down from the tower, let's go to Piazza Maggiore. So, Piazza Maggiore, the main, well, you could say the main or the biggest square in Bologna. So definitely go see that when you visit Bologna. And one thing I'm noticing here is that a lot of what there is to see in the center of Bologna is very close. This is not that far from the tower that I was just at and the Basilica Santo Stefano that I went after that before this. And then as you come into the square, something else that's pretty much a part of it that you'll hear about to see is the Fountain of Neptune, this right here. And it's basically right here attached to Piazza Maggiore. So if you see one, you're going to see the other as well. So right next to the Fountain of Neptune, you have the very historic library building, the Biblioteca here. And one thing that's also interesting right in front of it is you have this wall here of remembrance to people who fought against fascism in the 1940s. Now, obviously, Italy's World War II history is known for its alliance with Hitler because Italy at the time was under the fascist regime of Mussolini. However, that absolutely does not mean that all Italians were supportive of Mussolini, of course. There are many who fought and died against Mussolini's fascist regime, and Bologna right here was a hotbed of anti-fascist resistance. So one of the other things that's also very unique about Bologna is the architecture, especially these archways here. A lot of the streets in the city center, not just this particular one that I'm walking along, have these sort of covered archways along the sidewalks, which you really appreciate if it's either raining or if it's a hot day like today. These are actually very nice and cool to look at, and also provide some nice shade and, you know, relative comfort when it's really hot. Walk just towards the northeast of the towers, you'll enter the university district. Bologna's university is also famous because it is the oldest continuously operating university in the Western world. It has been running since the year 1088. So when you walk around here, I mean, it's historic, but it's also still in life right now. That is where you see the one little canal here in Bologna. Apparently, back in the day, centuries ago, there were a lot of canals that Bologna was built around, but now the one sort of remnant of that is just this little thing right here. And because it is known by those who visit here, you're going to be sharing this little space to see the one little canal here with other people, so don't be surprised if you might have to wait a little bit in order to get in and take your photos there. So now that we've pretty much seen what there is to see here in the historic center of Bologna, let's go ahead and just wander on down a little bit to where I have dinner reservations later on this evening, but I have a little bit of time for that, so I'll be kind of stalling a little bit. Bologna is really easy to see in an afternoon. I'm only spending the afternoon here, so I pretty much feel like everything, at least here in the immediate city center, there's cool things to see just outside the city as well. but for the city center itself, easy to do in a day. Bologna is a food capital, but the one pasta that is the most Bolognese is actually tortellini. So just keep in mind though, if you're gonna buy tortellini to bring home, it does have a very short shelf life because there's often, meat and cheese in it, right? And they'll actually tell you on the displays how long and at what temperature range, the different temperature ranges for how long you can keep tortellini. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna buy some tortellini to bring home, well, unless you're going home right away, you know, it might be a little hard to transport it all the way home. It's good to buy and then to make relatively soon. Walking around and looking at all this food here is making me hungry, so I'm glad that my dinner reservations are very soon, because you know, that's one thing that if you're just a little bit hungry, walking around a lot of places here in the middle of Bologna will make you a lot hungry.
Acqua no.
Acqua frizzata.
Frizzata.
Grazie.
Va bene.
So that dinner was amazing. Had to get a spaghetti bolognese in the city that it's named after, of course. And the spaghetti bolognese at Trattoria San Pietro was excellent. And as I'm sure are a lot of other things at this restaurant. Now, I looked it up before I came here to make sure that I ate at a good place and to make a reservation, because one thing you gotta remember, especially if you travel during a time like now, where there's a lot of people traveling, is that it could be hard to have dinner at a good restaurant if you don't reserve ahead of time. So I reserved it last night. I'm going to get my bag and head to the train station because I'm already leaving to go to the next place, which you'll have to wait for the next video to see where that is. So make sure that you have subscribed so that you will be in tune for that next video. Hit the like on this video and be sure, above all, to take care and travel better.